Hey everybody, how are you doing? I did something normal this week, like something I used to do before COVID. I drove my fully vaccinated ass to see a fully vaccinated friend, and you guys, we hugged each other, we hung out, and I saw her dogs, and it was lovely. We also have indoor fitness again, which means regular swims at the aquatic center. Having this little bit of normalcy after being stuck in lockdown for so long is just wonderful. I hope it lasts. For today's video, I wanted to talk about Dr. Mike and his response to accusations of fatphobia. Here's a little bit of background for those who don't know who Dr. Mike is. He is a medical doctor who practices in New York, New Jersey, somewhere around there. And he's one of the biggest medical YouTubers out there. He has like 7.5 million followers, and he puts out all kinds of medical content. I was following him for quite a long time because his content is good. He gives solid advice, he explains medical concepts clearly, and he's a dog lover, which is a win. I am not currently subscribed to him, and it's been a while since I watched his content regularly. The reason is that he was busted having a private party on a yacht with a dozen of his closest friends in the middle of a pandemic after he had been telling everyone on YouTube to stay home, isolate, don't get together with anyone. And his apology video missed the mark in several ways. To me, the whole incident kind of undermined the integrity of the medical messages he was putting out. That being said, I do believe his messages are solid, even if he sometimes has trouble following his own advice. He has talked a lot about following a healthy lifestyle, combating obesity, trying out various eating plans, and about a year ago, someone on Reddit called him out for being fatphobic. And as is his right, he posted a video responding to this. Now, I myself have been struggling with my weight for a long time. My BMI puts me in the range of obesity, and I wanted to look at Dr. Mike's video through that lens. I'm probably not going to end up showing the whole thing in this video, just the bits that I have something to say about. I will link the whole thing in the description below. Let's take a look.
Honestly, I was really disheartened, disappointed when I read this post. I'm not one usually to get upset when I read controversial posts about something that I've said, but this one touched me. You know, I have a lot of patients who are overweight and obese, who are struggling to lose weight, know that they need to for their health because they don't want to die young. They don't want to have a heart attack at age 40 or a stroke at age 50. They want to live long, fruitful lives. And it's my job as a physician to help them do that. That doesn't make me fatphobic.
I've encountered fat phobia in various forms, both in my real life and on social media. And something I always say and truly believe is that my weight is between me and my doctor. And even then, my weight should not be a focal point of my visit with my doctor unless it's relevant to the problem being discussed. Dr. Mike is right. His job is the health of his patients, but that doesn't mean any doctor should just default to talking about weight unless it's relevant.
In fact, I want to go through this post line by line and really take it apart so we can figure out what's what. He's actually a fan of intermittent fasting, which is unbelievable to me considering he's a medical professional. I frankly don't understand this critique. I like intermittent fasting for myself. Never did I say it's something I recommend to all my patients or as a piece of universal nutrition advice. Universal nutrition advice doesn't even exist.
He's not wrong about this. There is no universal answer for everyone. What works for me won't necessarily work for you. And yes, he has said that intermittent fasting works for him. It's been a while since I watched these videos, but I'm pretty sure he even says in those videos that it's not necessarily right for everyone. However, at the time he made these videos, he already had 6.5 million subscribers. He's got even more than that now. It's a huge platform that he has. He is, whether he likes it or not, an influencer. I hate that term, but he is an influencer. People are going to watch his videos and literally be influenced by what he says. So while he's not technically wrong, it is a little disingenuous for him to say, well, I never meant for this to be general advice. Because you have to consider how the audience will take it.
In his most recent video, he talked about gastric bypass surgery being good for long-term weight loss. Yeah, evidence shows that gastric bypass for those who are morbidly obese has better long-term outcomes than dieting or just medical treatment with medications. That being said, it's not the only solution. It's not the right solution for everybody. And there's also different types of bariatric surgery. There's many options and you have to discuss them with your doctor to find out what's right for you. But just poo-pooing the entire industry is wrong as well.
I have several friends who have had this surgery, and every single one of them has benefited hugely from a health perspective. A couple of them were actually on heart medication prior to surgery, and they were able to come off their meds because their hearts were no longer in danger. One thing I would add, though, is that people who have gastric bypass surgery are at high risk of developing substance use disorders. A lot of times weight gain results from underlying mental health issues, and those don't just go away when the weight comes off. One of my friends was strongly advised to seek therapy just for this reason.
Now let's take a look at some of the most upvoted comments. I felt the same way too. I love all of his videos on other areas of science, but I take his health and nutrition videos with a grain of salt. Don't forget that much of the research within medicine comes from a fat-phobic stance, so I feel it can be difficult for medical professionals to move away from that. I don't understand what fat-phobic, how it's being used in this given example. You know, many years ago, we sort of viewed those who were overweight as perhaps people who wanted to be overweight, who didn't care that they were overweight. That may have been true for a small portion of people, but there's individuals who have medical conditions that make them more susceptible to being overweight. And we have to address those in the medical community. So it's not about...
I think there is a growing awareness of the fact that being overweight or obese is a lot more complex than people just eating too much. There are underlying physical conditions, underlying mental health conditions. Some medications result in weight gain. Perimenopause plays a big role. People with disabilities often face serious struggles when it comes to this. So yeah, the recognition of these challenges is better, but the stigma is still there. People still make fun of fat people they see on the internet. People still act as if obese people are choosing to be irresponsible or careless or whatever, and that needs to change. I don't need strangers online to remind me that I'm fat or tell me what to do about it. It's none of their business. Just recognize that I have my journey, and unless I choose to discuss it with you, it's none of your business. Me being overweight does not take away my right to occupy space on this planet. And if I feel strong and beautiful, what's it to you? No one has the right to tell me that I cannot feel that way.
Most doctors also believe that obesity is a disease and that BMI is a good predictor of health. Sadly, most medical professionals are living in diet culture and fat phobia as much as the rest of the population. It's wild that doctors tell patients to lose weight when diets have a 95% failure rate and often leave people in worse shape than when they started. Can you imagine if doctors prescribed any other treatment or medication with 95% chance of failure? This is a good point to talk about. When we prescribe a diet plan or a nutrition plan, the reason that it fails is because adherence is low.
This might be true. Adherence is probably low, and I think the reasons for that need to be explored. It's not enough for a doctor to prescribe a diet and then just be all like, well, you didn't stick to the diet. Why didn't the patient stick to the diet? Are there financial barriers? Because healthy eating can be expensive. Are there psychological barriers? Could the patient benefit from a referral to a therapist? Have all possible medical causes for the weight gain been ruled out?
I have only ever seen one doctor in my life who didn't mention losing weight to me, so this is really not surprising to me. Show me a doctor who isn't fat phobic and I will be shocked. It sounds like the person writing this is going through a lot of pain. So it's not about being judgmental here. If doctors aren't immediately bringing up someone being overweight or obese, that could be okay, because maybe that person isn't ready to have that conversation. But if I'm gonna be giving you an honest assessment of your health, where you can do better, where your risks are, we have to talk about weight. It's like me having a patient who's a smoker and completely ignoring the fact that they smoke when I'm trying to optimize their health. I would be doing a disservice to them. So yes, when I have patients who come in for a checkup, for a preventive visit, so that they can stay being healthy, part of that discussion is weight management. Not because I'm fat phobic.
I know that Dr. Mike, with his massive subscriber count, is never likely to see this video, but if he does, I would give him this message. Dr. Mike, you may not believe that you are fat phobic, and honestly, I don't think you are either. But if there is one thing you can do to help the overweight and obese people who follow you, it would be to acknowledge that fat phobia exists in the medical community. It is widespread. It is a thing. And you cannot just pretend it's not there. You cannot make it go away by saying, but we have to talk about your weight. I have stories about being on the receiving end of fat phobia from doctors. It has to be acknowledged so it can be addressed. I think that's a whole other video for another day, but it is real. Fat phobia among doctors is very real, and it can lead to harm.
Capitalism thrives on people, especially women, feeling inadequate and needing to buy something, either diet books, coaching, gym memberships, new clothes to show off that bikini body. I don't want to blame this on capitalism. I kind of want to blame it on rogue marketing. You know, it's a lot easier to take a pill than get up, eat healthy, sleep well, go to the gym. So yeah, people are sort of excited with these shortcuts, but honestly, these shortcuts don't exist. It's not capitalism. It's rogue, evil marketing.
Oh no, it's capitalism. It's the idea that thin, beautiful bodies sell. Look at glossy magazine covers over the last 50 years. As a teen, I was under so much pressure to conform to these unrealistic ideals of beauty. I was thin and athletic back then. I was a competitive swimmer. I was lean and healthy. And I was still bombarded with messages that I was too fat. And that set me up for a lifetime of body dysmorphia and all that goes with it. Yes, the marketing of fads is evil, but let's not pretend that capitalism has nothing to do with this.
He's always advocating for preventable care because it's cheaper for the patient to lose weight than spend thousands of dollars on heart surgery and diabetes care. He's not fatphobic, he just doesn't want you in debt. I'm a huge fan of preventive care. I mean, that's why I love family medicine and what I do, because I want to prevent a heart attack rather than just simply treat it when it's there. Saving someone money, saving someone having to take medications long-term for the rest of their life because they have a stent. I want my patients to live the highest quality of life with as least medications as possible, and part of that means lowering your weight naturally.
I believe Dr. Mike's intent is in the right place. He does advocate a lot for preventative health care, and I really do think his intentions are good. He's a little off the mark on some of the things he says. I think he needs to be better at recognizing the fat phobia within his professional community. But that doesn't make Dr. Mike himself fatphobic. As an overweight person myself, I haven't really taken issue with much of what he said. And, you know, he's human. He might occasionally say something that sounds a little tone deaf, but expecting anyone to hit the mark 100% of the time is not realistic. So that's it for today's video. Watch Dr. Mike's full video for yourself. It is in the description. And take a look at his channel to see some of the content that is referenced, and let me know what you think. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy. Get your COVID jabs if you didn't already, and don't throw out your masks because you still need them. I'll see you in the next video. Live your best life and be kind. Bye.